You want to hear a joke? What is the time between slipping on a peel and smacking the pavement? 1 nanosecond. Hi, eighth grade teachers. I don't know why I keep picking you guys to having jokes, but that seems to be a tradition. So today we are looking at Discovery Ed, which is our main resource. How do we use it? How do you navigate it? And kind of the basics. When we are using Discovery Ed for the start of the year, I don't need everybody to be experts at it because the curriculum map actually helps take out the navigation piece of it. But I want this video to help briefly introduce it to everybody or reintroduce it for those who in the past saw it, didn't care for it, and moved away from it. What I've done this year with our new curriculum map will really help everybody be successful. So I want to reintroduce it if it's something that you've seen before, but maybe you didn't like. So let's jump into it. And actually, I want to start here. So you're on your curriculum map. If you need a link to Discovery Education, right now this actually takes you to the wrong place. I need to fix that link. But when you click on that link, it will take you to, let me actually get to the right place. Here we go, the main page. And what I want to do today, seems bigger than normal. What I want to do today is take you through a couple of the different tabs that are here. And I don't want us to explore all of Discovery Ed. There's a lot that's on there, and you can easily get lost and think there's no way I'm going to learn it all. All I really want us to get to know today is the classrooms and the tech book. I'll briefly talk about the assessment builder just because I think early on, some people will kind of use that resource either to create do nows or their own assessment, but really we're going to be bouncing between those two. So let's jump into the My Classrooms real quickly. And you don't have to worry about setting up the classes or anything like that. That all happens automatically with the rostering through the SIS system, Infinite Campus. So once you have students assigned to you and classes assigned to you, it all gets ported over automatically. With our navigation over here, you can click on classrooms. It defaults to looking at all your assignments. And you should be able to see your different classes. I think you can rename them. I just have a test class here just so I can mess around and assign things. But you should be able to see your students, see the assignments. This would be a great spot to kind of manage anything that you've assigned to students through this process. Think of it like Google Classroom. You just have a different view of it. Pretty straightforward. I'm not going to go into details here, one, because I don't have classes, but two, you're not at a spot yet where you have students and don't have all of the assignments assigned to them. Once you start to use this, I think you guys will be much better at managing your classes and navigating through this than I ever will be. So that's what this kind of looks like, how it'll be used. To get back to where we were, you just go click the logo up at the top left, and that will take you back to the main page. And there we are. That's looking more like yeah, I was zoomed in before. Very weird. All right, before we jump into the tech book, the assessment builder, this allows you to create question practice test or a summative test that's either based off the concept in Discovery Ed, or you can make them based off the standards. So there's a couple options there for you, or you can just go through and pull questions that you want to use as do nows on your slides, or if you're any other reason that you just need a bank of questions, that's a great spot to go through. It actually pulls any question that's asked in the science tech book. You can pull it and put it in one spot. You might not like the concept summative that they have for the concept. You may want to create your own. So the assessment builder might be a useful tool for you. All right. But we're going to mainly focus on today is the science tech book. This is where all the resources, where you'll navigate, what all the links on the curriculum map come to. So I want to make sure that we're all familiar enough with how to move around in here that you don't get lost and frustrated. Okay, so I purposely set myself up in an activity from previous day. Anytime you click that link, it takes you to where you last were. So that's one good aspect. It won't lose your spot. But right now I can't get to any other concept, any other grade level, because I'm in an activity. So make sure that once you've logged in, you kick yourself back out, just hit the back arrow out of it, whatever activity you might have been in. And then this will be kind of your default page. You have two navigation menus, one right here and one right here. This one you're only going to use when you're in the concept that you want to teach. Right now, you'll see I'm in 7th grade. Since this is the one that's wrong, click on that. Most of you probably won't be in the wrong grade level, but if you've taught a different grade level in the past, you might be. Once you've all the way back here, it lets you reselect, and now you can see I can select my new grade level, grade 8. That's like a one-time thing, maybe. Once you're into your grade, you're there for the rest of the year. So you shouldn't be dealing with that all too much. Unless you teach multiple grades, then you'll have to bounce around. All right, so we're going to start off very broad. Here's the whole year, grade 8. And then as we click in, we get more and more narrow. So let's take a look. When you click on the 8th grade, you've got your different units. Each unit is roughly 1/4. And I think I took out one of the concepts here to make it shorter. Might have been one here or here. I don't quite remember. But let's go ahead and click on a unit. So we're going from the whole year. Now this is about 1/4, so 9 weeks. And I think I showcased this page when we were doing the unit landing page. But there you have your phenomena, your project, and your 3 concepts. And in the case of other units, you'll have more than 3. Okay, so now we're at 1/4. Let's click in. And now we're at 1 unit or 1 concept. I'm sorry. So that was 1 unit. Now we're at a concept. And here's where, if I click on the drop-down arrow, I can go from concept 1.1 to 1.2 to 1.3. So that's an easy navigation for you for jumping between the two. Or if I click back, now I'm at the unit page. I can click into any concept I want. But let's say I'm moving on to unit 2. When I'm back here, I can move between my 4 different units. So you got a lot of movement that can happen on these. But we're starting off right from the beginning. Concept 1.1 to unit 1, falling objects. Okay. When you click into any of your concepts, it starts you off in the intro page. I don't expect you guys to be on here very much because I actually pulled a lot of this information and built it into the curriculum app, like can you explain why do objects fall to space objects fall to Earth? That's in the curriculum app. Student learning objectives, we'll show it in the next video. Those are there. A lot of these resources, the vocabulary, I've already built all of this into the resource in a way that makes it more logical of a flow. So you do have the intro page. Students won't have this, and I pulled a lot of that for you. Next, where you'll mainly be living is in the 5 E's: engage, explore, explain, elaborate, evaluate. Okay, so we'll go through those real quickly. And this is, you can see how easy it is to navigate between them. And this is where the actual activities are listed. Engage will only typically have between 1 to 4 activities. I might have seen one that had 5. Sometimes they only have 3. So you're at 3 to 5 activities in the engage. So typically you're thinking this is 1 or 2 days that I do to set my students up for thinking through the main concepts, getting them interested, wanting to ask more questions. So that's what this is geared towards. The explore is actually where most of the activities and learning is. Here's a good trick for using these. One, you can kind of tell what the activity is just by looking here. This one's visual literacy. This one's a video. This one's just literacy. So typically literacy, that one is text, whereas visual literacy is some sort of diagram. We can jump in and see, but just something a little bit different. But also you can look at these times, 10 minutes, 25, 10 minutes. The way that they set up these activities for Discovery Ed, and I use this to develop the pacing guide, is thinking in chunks of 45 minutes. They assumed most science students get at least 45 minutes a day. If you're in block, then it's just all in your 2 45 minutes, a 90-minute, right? So that's how they structure. So 10, 25, 10, that's one day between activities 1, 2, and 3. that you can do. Activity 4 is 45 minutes by itself. So that's the second day. So that's how you can do the pacing. I don't think that most of these actually take as long as they say. Like this says it's a 25-minute activity. But when you actually look at the video, let's take a look. Oh, this does have a SOS strategy. So this one you can extend to be quite a bit longer. I set up teachers to do this one for summer school and it was pretty successful. But like the video itself is 2 minutes. So it's like, okay, you don't have to take 25 minutes for this, but it's kind of giving you that idea for that's about a day is those first 3 activities. And we'll go into more detail. I'll have a video about making a lesson using these. And I think you'll find that useful. Most of your activities, as I mentioned, are going to be an explore. You can see here much more activities listed. This is actually a short concept. And they're grouped into what type of question that they're going to answer. You can also tell, okay, now I have interactives. And you have hands-on activities too. So these are your labs. So those are things that we really want to highlight, get students engaged physically, touching things either digitally or with hands-on activities. And you'll be fully supported in those moving forward. So we'll jump into one of these activities here at the end, but that's kind of essentially where a lot of the learning takes place, is the Explore. The Explain tab will only ever have one activity on it. What this activity does is it goes back to that original question. So in this case, why do space objects fall to Earth? And it has students answer that question in this activity in a more robust scientific manner now that they've learned all that they have. I believe they use the claim, evidence, and reasoning model, and it's modeled there. You can either assign it through here or print it out and have it done that way. Next up on the Elaborate with STEM, the way I view these is you got a few different, here's the main activity. You do have a couple of extension activities as well. These I picture, you have students who are just killing it. They love the topic. They dived in deep. They get it. They need a little bit more time, like they're finishing up on things, they're ahead while you kind of readdress concept with the rest of the class. You might assign these to them to learn a bit more, apply their learning to some different topic that's similar, and really engage them. Or you find some of these that you want to build into other lessons. I think you guys can do more with this than I've thought about, but those are there, very useful. And then your last tab, Evaluate. This is where you'll find, if we ignore the activity for now, you have your summative assessment here. Remember, that one has higher order questions, more difficult questions. But I've pulled a few of those for the quarter test to only multiple choice, FYI. And then you have the performance-based assessment, which we've talked about. So you can get those here and teacher's guide. If you open up the activity, that's actually where the practice assessment is at. Once it loads up, see, there it is. So I wouldn't assign the actual activity because the activity just asked them to, what was the core idea? I would open up the practice assessment, and then you can see up here, you can assign that. And these are typically, most of the time, multiple choice, more so than the summative, and they're going to be a bit more easier. So this might be a good way, maybe not grade it, but assign it to students and see how they do. And that might give you some good data for your class for how is everybody doing? Where do we need more time? Or if there's a question that you didn't teach and everyone misses it, it's like, that's okay. We didn't teach that one. So that's the Evaluate tab. Again, this is all just navigating using this bar here. And then there's the Beyond tab. I don't know how much you'll use this, but these are additional videos, readings, labs, simulations that somehow also tie into whatever concept you're doing. And so this might be good to look at probably prior to the unit to see if anything ties in, and just kind of have a good idea of things that are still there. So like friction and space shuttles. Oh, you know what? I'm going to have my kids read that. And so this might be a good area to pull in just a few extra resources to help your kids out. Giant dominoes, that'd be an interesting video. All right, So those are the main tabs. One thing I'll highlight, although again, I made it simpler for you, the unit project for this unit is only found on the third, or I guess the last concept, however many there are. And when you go to the elaborate with STEM, there we are, you'll see the unit project is listed there. Now, again, I made it easier. Your unit project is linked right here up at the top. So you don't have to go finding it in Discovery Ed. I've already done that part for you, made it simpler and easier. All right, we're going to have the next video. We'll cover the rest of the curriculum map, the pacing guide part of it, and how I envision you using that in Discovery Ed to build super engaging, dynamic lessons that aren't just assign this, assign that. I think you'll find that using Discovery Ed as a supportive resource with ideas and topics and resources that you can use to build out a lesson that teaches to your style, I think you'll love using it. And I think our students are going to love having you guys use it as well. All right, 8th grade. Awesome talking with you guys, and I'll catch you in the next video.